Hey guys, Stephanie here. Today I'm going to be talking about the difference between college and university because I've been getting this question quite a lot and I want to explain it. However, you have to keep in mind that I'm going to be explaining what college and university is in the US, okay? Because these words are probably used differently in the UK, in Australia. I know I've heard it used in Ireland in ways that I don't use it. Like when I was in Ireland one time, the students said, that they were at the uni or something like that. And I guess that's how they say university. And I never used that. I had never heard it in my life before that experience. So I'm just going to be going over this. Now, I think that it's important to understand a little bit more about how the years of school are broken down in the US first before we get to college and university, just because I want to give you guys the whole picture. I'll try and do this relatively quickly because I don't have too much time to do this Facebook Live, but I really wanted to get it in. So also, quick announcement. Lily Lee from China, if you get this message, I got your application for the group. It looks great. I want to welcome you to the group, but you either didn't click the join button or you did, and I accidentally deleted your request to join the group. So if you get this message, please just click join again. We'd love to have you. And thanks for taking the time to fill out that application. All right, so anyhow, let's get into the way first that the school years are broken down in the US. First, there is pre-K. Pre-K is before kindergarten. It's pre-kindergarten. So a lot of kids go to pre-K when they're 3 years old, 4 years old, and it's kind of like they just play with blocks and numbers and letters and stuff like that. To get ready for kindergarten, because I guess, they're saying, standards are getting tougher and tougher every year for the kids, supposedly. Well, I don't know. I don't want to be the one to judge that. But anyhow, they go to pre-K to get ready now for kindergarten. Then there's kindergarten when students are 5 and turning 6. Then when students are 6, then they go to first grade. Once they're in first grade, that's officially considered elementary school. Elementary school is from first grade to 6th grade, okay? And then after elementary school comes 2 years. Hello from Colombia. Okay, how do I say your name? Is it Anderson? Is it just Anderson? But you have 2 E's there? Because E in English is like E, it makes the E sound. Anderson. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but anyhow, hey, I'm glad you caught my Facebook Live. And whoever else catches me, let me know where you guys are checking in from, okay? All right, so back to the explanation. There is, after elementary school, there's 2 years. This is called junior high. It could also be called middle school, and it comes before high school. So in elementary school, the kids, they have one teacher and they're in the same class all day long. Then they have junior high, and junior high prepares them for high school. And basically you have, 6 different classes throughout the day. Each class is an hour long, and maybe you have 45 minutes to have a lunch and like a recreation break or something like that in between the day. So that's junior high. And Emmanuel's here from Colombia as well. Wow, way to represent Colombia, you guys. That's awesome. Okay, so then after middle school or junior high comes high school, okay, or secondary school. Now in the US, we just call it high school. We don't really call it secondary school. It is from when you're like 14 to 18 basically. So it's 4 years, and it's basically like what you guys see in the movies. Okay, so there's like cheerleaders, there's athletics teams, all that stuff. It's very common. So anyhow, after high school or secondary school, then comes college. Okay, college is like a very vague term to refer to any type of higher education that comes after high school. Okay, so any type of higher education that comes after high school. I made notes. I need to stay organized with this because there's so much information here. And okay, so let's get into the difference between college and university. Basically, it's kind of used the same way, but there is a literal difference, and I'll get into that in a second. I just want you guys to know that when I go to college, or when I went to college or used to go, or when people go, they don't say, bye mom, I'm going to college now. That's weird. They don't say, bye mom, I'm going to the university, or see you guys later, I have to go study at the university. That's just weird. They say, I'm gonna go to school. See you later, I'm going to go to school. So school for us is any kind of level of school. It doesn't matter if you're in the university. You don't have to specify. You don't have to say, I'm going to the university, because you're a college student. Where else would you go, right? Okay, so basically I want to make that clear. We never say, like if they say in the UK, like what I heard, like uni, we don't say that. We just say I'm going to school. All right, so we say we're going to school, but then college is anything after secondary school, and then university. University, it's like a bigger college, because there's different kinds of colleges. So, for example, I went to a 2-year college, and I got my associate's degree in language studies, okay? So the way the degrees work, follow me here. There is an associate's degree, there's a bachelor's, then there's a master's, then there's a PhD. Okay, that's the way they all work. Yeah, Emmanuel, go ahead, ask something. No problem. Just put it in the chats and I'll get right, or the chat, and I'll get right to it. So anyhow, and then within those, oh, okay, sorry guys. I had a bad connection. I think I'm back now. Anyhow, within those degrees, it's further separated into like associates of science or associates of arts, bachelors of science, bachelors of arts. So depending on whether you're studying a degree that's like acting or writing, that would be like an... Okay, I have no idea why there's such a bad connection today. Sorry, I hope you guys see me. If not, I'll have to remake this video. But basically, you have the degrees broken down into whether they're science related or art related. The associate's degree is a 2-year degree. You can get that at a 2-year college. It's called a community college. A lot of people decide to go to community college first and then to a university. Universities have 4-year colleges, but they also have graduate schools in them. So that's the difference. A university is huge. It's a lot bigger than just a college. There are colleges within universities, or there are colleges like the one that I went to, that's a 2-year college, and it's just for getting your associate's degree in something. And anyhow, I was saying a lot of people go to community college first because it's cheaper. It's a lot cheaper than going to a university. So I was a transfer student. That means that I did 2 years in a local community college, and then I transferred to a university when I was ready to study my degree. Actually, there's so much I could say about this, honestly. There's a lot. But anyhow, a university, like I said, it's a lot bigger, and it has colleges inside of it that you study maybe particular things at that college. A college is a 4-year, where you study a 4-year degree, you get your bachelor's degree, but universities also have graduate programs. There are 2 graduate colleges. A lot of people say they call it like grad school. So after you get your 4-year degree, then you can go to grad school, and it just goes on from there. So, and then the other thing I wanted to say is that the way the degrees work is there's a certain amount of, to get a degree, there's a certain number of credits you have to have. Let's say like the degree I was going to get, a Spanish degree, was like, I don't know, 300 credits or something like that. I have to get 300 credits, and they also have required classes. So let's say, 200 of those credits were required classes, the other 100 were electives. That means I have to take the credits for the required classes, and a class is usually 3 credits. So I'm making all of this up off the top of my head, except for this, that a class is 3 credits. Some classes, if there's a lot involved, like lecture and a lab, like a science class, that might be like a 5-credit class. So anyhow, with that said, this is like very informative. I feel like maybe this video might be kind of boring. Are you guys still with me? Because the connection cut out quite a bit, and Emmanuel, you wanted to ask something and I never got your question. Let me Let me look on Facebook and see if it's just not coming up on my phone. It's not coming up. Let me see. Oh, good. Okay, Ahmed's here. Hey, Ahmed. I just saw that you're here. Okay, cool. Good to know. So, I want to get into out on university. We have to get into college first. Yeah. Okay. No. Here's the thing. If you guys wanted to like study in the US, first you would have to pick a place to study. You could study at any university or college there. You could go to a 2-year college and then transfer to a 4-year college, or you could go directly to a university. A university would be something like San Diego State University or something like that, or I'm trying to think of them off the top of my head, but it's not coming to me. And then we didn't even get into the difference between public universities and private universities, and there's so much information, you guys. I think I'm going to make another video on this another time, just because I want people to be able to, you know, ask their questions. I actually have to go now in a second. And I used to, it's funny, when I was in college, we have counselors that we work with. The students have counselors, and you're required to go see your counselor at least once a semester. And I was required to go see my counselor every month because I was on the athletics, or I was on the swim team and, you know, the water polo team, and they required the athletes to check in more frequently because I guess athletes have a tendency to let their studies slide because it can be a very heavy load, an academic load, and, you know, sports and everything. It can be too much, so we were required to check in very frequently. Anyhow, the counselor that I would go see, he would always say, I don't even know why you have to come in. You always have it all figured out, because I would print off all the information that I needed about the university, what I needed to get my degree, all the credits, the classes, and I was always like 10 steps ahead of him. I would go in and I would say, okay, well, I'm planning on doing this and these classes and this way and that way. And he said, well, I don't know if you can do that because of this. And I'd say, well, I already looked into it actually, and this is what's going on. And he's like, oh, wow, okay. So it's very organized. There's, you know, counselors there to help you. Also, what's really cool is there are specific departments within each university specifically for students that come that are foreign, basically, students that are studying abroad in the US. There's a department that's dedicated to helping students like you guys get scholarships, make sure you don't get lost on campus, make sure everything's working out okay. And there are specific counselors just for, you know, international students. It's really cool. There's lots of departments within universities, and there's so many people that are there to help that you can just walk up in the morning, you know, to the office, and you can go ask questions, you can call them. I know because I used to live on campus basically, and I learned a lot about college life and, you know, the support that's there. I actually won a lot of scholarships in college because I would look for them and I would sign up for them. A lot of times I had to write, you know, personal essays and stuff. And each semester I would get about $2,000 in scholarships, which, you know, it's not a lot in the US, but it was definitely enough because I was at a community college at the time and it was a lot cheaper. So there's also, oh, we didn't even talk about financial aid. There's so much information. So let me see if you guys have any other questions. I'll refresh my Facebook again. Qualitative or quantitative? Okay. Emmanuel, I just read your question. I actually don't know too much about those grading methods. I'll be honest. Like, if you want to know about grading methods or grading systems, I know like the letter system, I know the number system, but I don't know what you mean by that question actually. So you can either ask me in the group or clarify right quickly. I never got my degree to be like a teacher, so I didn't study different methods or anything like that. I just do this on my own. Okay, so that's it for now, you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. And actually, if you have questions about all the stuff that I was just going over, just ask directly in underneath this video. That way we can keep everything in one place and we will go from there. So I feel like I'm forgetting to say something. Are there any last minute questions? I wish the questions would come up directly on my phone, but it's not working. All right, guys. Well, it was great hanging out with you. I am going to go, and I'll see you guys later. All right? Bye.